looked as if some had either crashed into each other or had run off the road into walls or trees. The spookiest were the cars with their engines still running, stopped on the road, usually with doors left open, indicating the rapid evacuation the occupants had been forced to make. Jeff, Dave, Jamie and Ian were in the lead van as they knew the way. Simon had got into Mark's van along with the latest addition, John, in case they got separated. It wasn't easy or by any means comfortable to travel with chain armour on, but taking it off was not an option, as no one knew what they were going to face. As they neared Bristol, blue flashing lights from a police car could be seen in the distance heading towards them. The car rapidly drew closer, screeching to a halt and ending broadside in front of them, blocking the road ahead. The police car was in a state with dents all over it and blood smeared across the bonnet and side panels. The two policemen inside the car stared at the vans for a few moments before opening their door and stepping warily out. Jeff and Ian opened their doors and stepped out, holding their weapons. As soon as the two policemen saw the two large men step from the van, wearing armour, paper face masks and hefting an axe and a mace, they reached for their batons and with a snap of their wrists extended them, screaming for Jeff and Ian to stand still and drop their weapons. Ian shouted at them, "Don't be fucking stupid, have you seen the zombies out there? I ain't letting go of my weapon for nobody. Now calm down, we ain't going to attack you or anything, we just want to know what's going on. We've been attacked, we've seen people die and we've had to defend ourselves from those undead bastards twice already today. You're the first signs of any authority we've seen all morning. We couldn't even get an answer from 999 at 6 this morning." The two policemen stood facing them, with their batons still held ready. Ian spoke more calmly this time. "Come on, put your batons away and tell us what's going on. I think we're the least of your worries today. I've bashed a few zombie heads in today, but as you're clearly alive, you're safe from us." The two policemen looked at each other, shrugged, and lowered their batons. They began to walk up to them, but Jeff held up his hands. "I'd not get too close if you don't mind. We don't know how this thing spreads, so if we keep a bit of separation, it could keep us all safe." "Fair point," said one of them. "We hoped you might know more about what's going on than us," his partner added. "We've been on shift since last night. Our first call was to an assault and burglary out in the middle of the countryside. By the time we'd dealt with it and taken all the statements, we then spent a few hours driving around to see if we could find the bastard who'd done it, because by all accounts he'd been on foot. No other calls came in, so we spent most of the night on it. It was only when we were heading back to the station at the end of our shift that it hit the fan. We thought it was a riot at first, but when we saw the crowds attacking and eating those trying to escape, we knew something weird was going on. There was nothing on the radios, and we only worked out what was going on from social media on our phones." He glanced at his partner for a nod of confirmation, then carried on. "What confirmed it for us was when we came across what was left of some of our colleagues from our station. It looked as if they'd tried to set up a roadblock to contain them, using cars and vans. They've been ripped to shreds. The only possible explanation is that, somehow, everyone has turned into zombies. We were totally freaked out and kept driving around, dodging the crowds and trying to find backup, or anyone alive for that matter. Eventually, our luck ran out, and we got surrounded by those things. The only way to escape was to drive straight through them, and we barely got through. It's clear there's nothing we can do, and we can't get hold of our families, so we're off to see if they're safe. As far as we can tell, Bristol is swarming with them. If you were planning to head that way, I wouldn't. It'd be a death sentence." Ian, still with his axe resting on his shoulder, replied, "Well, it looks as if you know as much as we do. As far as we're concerned, and don't ask us how, we're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. We've had to fight them in the middle of the countryside. They're everywhere. And on our way back, we've passed quite a few abandoned or crashed cars. We've been keeping watch, but so far, we've only found one other survivor, and he was being chased by a horde of them, so we had to kill them all. including a load of children.